tell us about what's your main goals with streaming? Like, give us some place to start with you.
Uh, Main goal, I guess, just to keep growing the stream. Just want to, like, I don't expect to have thousands of viewers, but so I used to stream back in like 2011, 2012
Okay.
to like almost 2013. Had a great time doing it then. Twitch was way different than back then, so I could just play games and grow that way.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do anything else. And we had like a great community of like, I'd probably say average like 60, 70 back then,
Okay.
which was really cool. But that was before like there was no affiliate or anything like that. So then I stopped because of live stuff. So when I came back, I just really loved streaming, but I kind of would hope to one day get back to at least to where I was before.
Where were you before?
Like say average of 70.
Okay.
So that
I've
was
seen
like I
you
said,
have.
back.
I mean, you're not. I haven't seen 70, but I've seen you have like 30 to 40 sometimes when you were doing.
Yeah. So it felt really good as far as let's say I think December like November, December, January or so. Splunky 2 did a lot for the channel, I think.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Yeah. Where I was probably my best month was probably like 40. So I guess that comes into like, I mean, I don't know if I should have kept grinding with Splunky.
Well,
Because I still play it, but not I didn't back then. I was playing it pretty much like every day. You know?
did you feel like it was a trap?
Like I love the game. I could play the game all the time, but I just didn't know. Hey, I don't know. Wasn't sure if I just keep doing it or not. Or also like numbers started dipping a little bit. So I thought like maybe I try and switch it up a little bit
Man,
more.
that happens so often. Like somebody will be doing really well with the game, and then all of a sudden it's like cut in half or even
Yeah.
like a third, and it makes you go crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
what do I do? Do we do this? Is this not working
Yeah.
anymore?
And then like, I guess at my heart I'm more variety, but so then I feel bad as far as like the old school regulars, whether like okay this is nothing but Splunky now,
Yeah.
but I guess I shouldn't. I've
The
heard you say
viewers,
before, like, sorry, go ahead.
the viewer fatigue thing is real too, because you have to kind of balance, like, it's kind of like food. You got to make sure you're not just offering the same meal over and 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 over, even if it's like
Yeah.
the best. There's a reason why, like, a place that, I guess I could talk about like In-N-Out Burger. They have a very limited menu, but that limited menu does a lot.
Yeah.
So you kind of need that. I think
True.
In-N-Out's kind of the right way to kind of approach things, because you don't want too much. You don't want
I
a
got
menu that's so big that it takes like 20 minutes to figure out what to order. You want it to be just small enough that somebody can read it and be like, okay, I'll get this. And then,
And then well I guess and then maybe looking back at it, maybe I should have done like, even if I was doing Splunky, I don't know, just do more fun stuff, add more. Maybe I got kind of complacent a little bit, and just with just being super busy with life, like not adding new fun things to the stream and stuff like that. So I've been trying to get back to like just adding dumb channel redemptions or different scenes or different stuff, different pop-ups and stuff like that.
okay. So your goal is, what's the dream?
The dream.
Yeah, tell us your dream. What do you wish? If you could have a wish granted, streaming wise, what's the wish?
The wish is to make I wouldn't say a living off of streaming. I don't think I ever do that, but a nice side gig, I guess.
Okay, so you'd like to have this be a somewhat profitable hobby?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't want it to be your full-time job, like ever. Is that what you mean?
Okay, the dream is to make it a full-time job.
Okay,
If
okay.
that's
Nice
the dream, then
switch
yeah.
of answers there.
I just want to dig in and try and make
Yeah, yeah.
sure that we got this right.
Yeah.
What's the big dream?
Sure, yeah, the big dream is a full-time job.
Big dream. Yeah.
This and, yeah,
Full-time.
this and YouTube, I suppose.
Yeah, content creation.
Yep.
Good. That's a good dream because you can pursue it in many ways.
Yeah.
If you want to be a full-time Twitch streamer and that's the dream, there is literally like one path, like and it's as hard as like trying to go and move to another country and marry an idol or something. Like you have one narrow path to go from who you are right now to that version of you, and I think it's a good idea. People have a better chance. They increase their opportunity for success when they are okay doing like a lot of things, YouTube, podcasting, when they're expanding on themselves. So I don't think it's a good idea to be like a specialist, so to speak, right? Like Twitch, I'm a Twitch streamer. That's like that's your special. You don't do anything else. Like, this is so okay. So you want to be a successful. So that doesn't mean you want to be necessarily even need to be big. You just need to be making enough money to justify full-time content creation, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So your goals, so then your choices, like you were streaming Spelunky because it was getting you closer to that. You felt like it was getting you along on the way?
Yeah. So well, also, I really love Spelunky too. Like, I really love the game.
Okay.
So I think it was a great thing as far as me loving the game, and then also was doing well number wise.
Okay. What do you think was working back in 2011, 12, 13 era?
Man, that's a good question. I don't know. It's so different.
Less
hard to say.
competition. It just was working because there was not a lot of streamers.
I suppose so. And I streamed back then. I streamed like 5-6 nights a week.
Mm-hmm. What did you stream?
It was variety. I
Just
played like
anything.
everything. Yeah, new games.
Yeah.
Old games.
So the timing was good. That was about it.
Yeah, and back then, like for quite a while, like the first year, you could stream games early before, and Twitch wouldn't shut you down. So I would get games early and stream them early and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's changed a lot
Yeah.
since then.
Yeah, the bar is now higher.
Yeah. Hi again.
Oh, by the way, hi. Hello there.
Um,
Yeah, so coming back, like I've been back for I don't know, maybe 2.5 years now, 3 almost.
okay.
So
where
yeah,
did you start when you came back? How many viewers did you have?
I think that first like 6 months, the average was maybe 10 to 15, I believe, maybe like 13 average.
That's pretty good for just starting up again.
Yeah, it was cool seeing like some old
Yeah.
people from back in the day come and hang out.
People actually came back from like 10
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I still have quite a few people that hang out from back then.
Now I'm worried that going back to my channel after like 2 years off, like who's gonna be there kind of thing. Can't imagine
Yeah.
10 years. Wow.
Yeah, it's nutty seeing like people follow 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. So, I mean, what do you how do you have any idea of how to go about getting from where you're at right now to the version of you that is making a full-time income doing content creation? Do you see a path in your head?
I guess not like a super laid out path, no.
Okay, so this is a common thing. This is like super common. You need to figure that path out, and it doesn't have to be super clear. It just needs to exist that there is one, and
Yeah.
that and then you can start taking steps on the path to get there. Like you need to be able to see at least parts of the path so that you can work towards the stages of that will get you there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like if you see yourself this streaming is such an abstract thing that it makes it kind of difficult actually, but if you see yourself being in a band and playing shows, there's obvious steps. Like you got to find people to play music with. You got to write songs. You've got to record songs. Like these are so that you can actually work towards those like goals. I guess they can be like step goals along the way to the end goal. And without, if you just have the end goal and you just have where you are now, and it can feel like you're making steps because you're like turning on your stream.
Yeah, one step at a time. One stream at a time.
But if you turn on your stream for years and years and years and nothing is happening, you're maybe not making the steps to the phase growth that you need to get to where the end is.
Yeah.
So having that path and being able to picture it in your mind is very, very helpful. This is true of most things. Most artists, most athletes, they all can see themselves doing the thing that they need to do. And so you trying to visualize. This is why people use a vision board, or they make like a dream board or something, or they write it down. They write down their goals. Like there's actually the value in that is that you're kind of like seeing the path. You're creating that path. So there's
Or at least you're trying to.
Well, you're giving yourself something instead of nothing.
Yeah.
Hope isn't a path. Hope is an idea. What you need is to like try, because the path can be, malleable, can change as you go.
Mm-hmm.
But you need the path to exist in the first place. And streaming is one of those traps where you feel like you're making steps when you're really not. It's a lot like somebody's trying to lose weight by cutting calories, and then they're like, well, I cut calories all week, I can have an ice cream tonight,
Yeah.
and then the one thing that you do sets you back all the way. Like Spelunky 2 was doing well, you felt like maybe it's not doing so well anymore, so you make a change, and now that's like the ice cream, and now you've set yourself back because maybe it was just not good that night, or
Gotcha. Yeah.
that month or whatever, and it was you should have stuck with it. And so it makes it very difficult to figure this out. So
Yeah.
being a Spelunky 2, saying Spelunky 2 is working, what you need to do, and it doesn't have to be Spelunky 2, this is true of any game or anything. What you need to do is set like big mini goals to try and reach, because if you were to say, I'm gonna be like the Spelunky guy, no matter what. Like, what's the top Spelunky streamers? How many viewers do they get?
Top
row.
Top row. Like hundreds.
Okay, so I'm gonna be a top Spelunky streamer. It means you're gonna have hundreds of viewers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of those steps towards the end goal. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So your big dream down here, you need to shift the big dream energy to the first stage and try to figure out, how do I achieve this? Because if I achieve this, I can achieve that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So if you move the energy to, I'm gonna be like the Spelunky 2 streamer. So then you got to then it's easier to figure out. If your dream is so far away, it's hard to see all the steps. But this step, you can kind of figure out, how am I going to do this? Am I going to saturate YouTube with Spelunky 2 content? Am I going to what can I do in the game category, in the community of Spelunky 2 streamers, that will stand out? What can I do? Is it some kind of co-op streams, tournaments, races, something that's like, how do you cut a corner out for yourself to stand out? That it's not just because everybody in the Spelunky 2 category, what are they doing?
Playing Spelunky.
Yeah, they're playing Spelunky, so it doesn't help you stand out at all.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Right?
Hey, Perm here. I just looked at Sling Gnome. The top player of Spelunky has an average viewers of 1.1k viewers, but then it falls to 500, 300 average, then 200 when you get down to 8.
Right. And it can be hard when you go look at those channels and those streamers to figure out how they got there. Because that's...
And a lot of the big Spelunky streamers are like the speedrunners of that game.
Right. So and that's a very
John
popular
Knott.
thing to watch on Twitch.
Yeah.
Challenge runs. But if you could figure out how, so like forming a community around some kind of novel concept, something that helps you stand out. Why are people watching this stream? I mean, they could watch anybody play Spelunky 2. So you have to try to figure out a way to offer something with your from you that only you offer, right? So if I were to stream, so I'm going to break out of the Spelunky 2 category so this can be more applicable to in general.
Yeah.
If I were to stream, something I'm thinking about streaming, modding hardware, like PlayStation 1 consoles, modding them with the X Station, which is an optical drive emulator, which it basically replaces the drive with an SD card so that you can load games from a memory card, okay? If I were to stream that, there are other people streaming microsoldering and electronics and stuff like that. If there's 50 people doing that, what can I do to kind of lift up? Well, maybe I could mod the console and then give it away, right? That now creates a reason for people to come and hang out and be a part of my community, because not only am I doing the mods and they get to see me doing the mods, but they also maybe will win a console, right? Or in your case, there's co-op things, right? With Spelunky 2, you could figure out a way to organize an event where maybe you don't speed run the game, but you get all the speedrunners together to race.
Yep.
Race each other.
Yeah.
Or you have to be a leader in some way and organize things that are not happening on their own, but if they did happen and now they're happening because of you. Someone who's good at this is Northern Rush. He streams a lot of For Honor, but the thing that actually is helping him the most is he puts on tournaments, just player versus player, viewer versus viewer tournaments. And he keeps brackets, and we put it all on his website. He's one of my clients, so that's why I know this. But it's all incorporated right on the website. He's got winners every time he does a new one, previous brackets. You got to be able to do stuff that makes the viewer kind of like look forward to what you're doing, as well as give them a reason to stay kind of engaged with you as a creator. And that's kind of on you to figure out.
Yeah.
I don't have the answer. None of the stuff I said could be the answer. Right? But this is the stuff that will help you go from dude streaming Spelunky to where you want to go. Does that make sense?
Gotcha, yeah.
And it doesn't have to be on Twitch. It can be off Twitch. You can do stuff off Twitch. So you could. The reason people are watching your Twitch channel is because you organize things in your Discord that they'd like to be a part of. So I don't know. Does anybody else have anything on this?
Oh, not at all at the moment.
Well, I'm thinking of what Gin is doing. He's had a lot of stuff that is.
No, let's not talk about
Gin.
Gin. No. The reason that
I'm probably joined here because of me. Okay, fine. Okay.
Gin.
Oh, you blame yourself. I want to talk, and
Gin-
you're not the boss of me.
Gin is a perfect example of experimental chaos in motion, because Gin loves to try new things to see if it'll work. He does this with everything. He does this with his channel, his OBS plugins, his YouTube channel. Gin is like, I'm gonna do anything and everything, and when it's working, I'm gonna keep going, and if I get a good idea, I'm gonna execute that. It's very different approach from what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Gin's creating the path as he walks.
Yeah,
Gin is laying each brick in front of him.
that's me.
And sometimes the brick isn't good, and he throws another one on top of it. Gin is like
Yeah.
Gin doesn't have he doesn't have a clear path. He's cutting brute force. cutting his way forward.
Yeah. Listen.
Not everybody
I'm-
is built to do that.
Oh,
I
man.
think Gin does that because naturally this is how he operates. And I don't think it's good advice to tell someone to go do that because it's not a plan. Gin doesn't have a plan. He has energy.
Yeah. Energy.
Yeah. And he does have plans. He just kind of comes up with them because he's throwing bricks down so fast. To like make the path. And that's very hard. Most people can't execute that way. Gin is very special.
Why do you think that? Why do you think they can't execute it that way?
Oh, because it's okay. Number one, it requires a huge amount of determination. And you can't give up when things fail right away. That is not most people. Most people do not like failing, and as soon as they fail, they stop. They move on, and it cuts their energy off from doing the next thing that would work. You don't mind failing. To you, the failure is part of the success because it helps you understand that it's the process is getting you somewhere, right?
That's pretty true. Yeah, that's what I think.
You find value in making things not work for a while and then figuring out a way to make it work. And people won't do this. Most people will just give up as soon as it doesn't work.
It is exciting. I don't know. What can I say? I'm learning something new, and I can apply it to the next thing.
Yeah,
I
you
think-
have a holistic approach, again, because
Yeah.
you find value in it for yourself.
Yeah.
It improves you, so it doesn't need to improve the stream. That's
Yeah.
not how people look at things. People hate themselves for the most part, or are down on themselves, depressed, and they have low self-esteem. And the moment it's difficult, or not working, or looks like it's not working, it becomes a storm of give up, and their energy gets sucked away. So Gin isn't the best role model. He's a good example of, like, you need to be able to have determination, and we should all look up to Gin for doing this, but it is very hard to emulate. It's much easier to be like, I want to be a pro basketball player, and I'm tall enough for it, and I'm good enough at basketball for it. So what do I need to do? I need to play a ton of basketball. I need to always be playing basketball. I need to get stronger. I need to eat foods that help me play basketball. I need, like the steps become more obvious when you have a goal like that. Gen's goal is like this abstract thing, because he doesn't care. He just knows he's going somewhere, and he's like, he wants to go there. Right? Is that a good way to say it, Gen?
Yeah. No, that's pretty much he's
He's not
just
about
like
the
try
destination.
things.
He's about the
Yeah.
journey.
Hey, yeah.
And I think a lot of people can't do that. I think they
Why?
need, because I don't know.
I
It
think
just
I know why.
okay. Let's.
I know why.
I think people are hard to understand. I don't.
Okay,
have.
two things that a lot of people don't have is a sense of humor that will allow them to, laugh when they hurt themselves.
Of course, Perm says sense of humor.
And not
Hold
just
on. If
that,
that were
not
true,
just that,
if that were
you have to be you have to be able to grieve. This idea doesn't work. Do I keep on going? No. So I have to grieve upon my defeat to be able to move on. If you hold on to your defeat, you will give up.
right. I think people without an end game goal, they just don't know how to cut the path. They don't know how to see the steps. Like a lot, this has nothing to do with streaming. This is just people in general. A lot of the people in my life that like have come to me because they're like sad or depressed about what's going on with their life or something. Like all they have to do is change how they think about things or change how they approach things. And the only way that worked for them, they couldn't change until they had a reason to. Again, you don't need to change.
No.
Right? a lot of the people we're talking about here, they have to make changes in order to get to where they're going. You're already in a good place to get where you're going.
I don't need to change because, like you said before, I'm already changing
You're
everything.
constantly changing. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're like in this flux of just like this, doing
dude.
this, I'm gonna do this, and
Fun
improving
fact:
yourself, and yeah,
I won't lie. I'm currently editing VOD while I'm doing this. So yeah.
yeah,
I'm even doing it in action. So yeah.
yeah. So the goal, people need to see the people that I know that have transformed their lives, and this is true of me as well. The most change because they found a great reason to motivate themselves to do it. It didn't even have to be like realistic. An unrealistic goal did it. You know, like people who want to become the version of themselves that is going to get what they really want out of life. That person is not the person who's down on themselves and frustrated and wallowing in self-pity and all of that stuff. So, not that this has to do with you, Empty.
Oh yeah. Very very
This
general.
is
yeah.
very general, yeah.
General. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you don't seem like you're doing that stuff. So, but like the most people who are having problems with cutting that path out and finding the stages that they need to be. Here's a good. Let me say this a different way. Okay, let me say it this way. The very successful version of you is dealing with things that you've never dealt with before. Does that make sense?
Wait. Can you say that again? Like I don't think I got
So
it.
you're a big. Let's do some role play or pretend. Okay, hypothetically
All right.
speaking, you all make it to be these 1000K Andy streamers. You got tons. You've made it. You're a big streamer, and
Yeah.
you have income from the stream. That person, that version of you, is now somebody who has to deal with business elements, tax elements. Okay, it's not as simple as collect paycheck stream game, right?
Yeah. It's much more than that. Yeah.
Way more is happening to that version of you. So you have to, you have to actually picture that version of you dealing with these more complicated aspects of life and things that you're not ready for, that you're not dealing with right now. And you will always self-defeat if you can't, if you picture that stuff and it feels like it's going to be a burden and it feels like it's going to be frustrating and that you don't really want to deal with the taxes of being self-employed, massively self-employed, and you don't really want to you don't want to have to worry, and I don't want to, that's you're already self-defeating because the dream version of you has to deal with those complications. If you truly want to be a big streamer, you're going to have to be able to sit down and talk with companies. You're going to have to negotiate contracts. You're going to have to talk about income with businesses and sponsors. These are skills and tools you don't have yet. You've never done these things. And maybe you've done them to a small degree if you have your own business or something. But these are not normal aspects of being a streamer. These are not the things you're thinking about. So this is why people need that path, because I think innately they realize if they actually reach their dream, they're going to hate parts of it because they're not ready to actually grow up and deal with the adult side of their decision. And so they self-defeat because, it's like the person who just like gave up on finding a girlfriend or a partner for whatever reason, and it's just easier to just like do whatever you want and not care, because there are negatives to that kind of life and there are negatives to this kind of life, and so you just accept these negatives and reject those negatives and self-defeat. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I get it. I totally get it, man.
It is a great piece of insight.
Yeah.
How do you go from here to there? Well, you have to accept there, all of it, the good and the bad, and try to prepare yourself to be good at the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Don't hate it. You know, embrace your dream holistically. If your dream is to go, become a K-pop idol, then you have to, and you're gonna hate living in South Korea. Good luck. You have to holistically
Damn.
accept the dream. I don't want to learn Korean. Well, good luck.
It's
Yeah,
a hard language.
you have to really, and then once you do that, you'll be able to actually start carving this path out for yourself. You'll remove all the subconscious blocks that keep you from getting to the top of Spelunky and like doing the hard work, because it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be like a simple process to go from who you are right now to the person who has to deal with the taxes of being, owning your own company basically, and potentially having employees. Because being a big content creator, you have to hire editors, you have to hire social media managers. These are your employees now. This is not a simple tax situation. And even if you hire someone to deal with that stuff for you, like a manager who then deals with all your taxes and stuff, you still have to deal with that person. So can you deal with that? Right? How far can you go with this? So dream big, but dream realistically. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Again, another beautiful piece of insight. Brought to you by the Study Machine. Thank you, Sunny.
I just don't want you guys to give up on your dream. I want you to like really aim for it, Like find that bullseye. And even if it takes you like hundreds or thousands of shots, know what you're aiming for and keep shooting. So gaming therapy.
Listen, I mean, no, it's helpful. I'm not like mocking you or anything. It is pretty good that you're doing this talk.
Oh, he's
Really.
mocking me.
I'm not mocking you. Neither. I never said you. It's not about you, Perm.
And if your goal is to just make an income and not have to worry about any of those crazy things that thousands of viewers bring, that can be a realistic dream too. You don't have to be at the top of Spelunky. You could be at the top of, Terraria or something. I don't know, like a smaller game. And you still have to deal with some of those pains, but maybe you don't need a social media manager, and maybe you don't really need to negotiate contracts with too many. You could just accept like the general stuff and just try to make some sponsorship deals here and there that are pre-set up and no negotiations needed. And maybe you don't make $1 million a year or 100,000. Maybe you make like $75,000 to $80,000 a year, and that's enough for you, and you're okay with that. And you can have a smaller, realistic dream. But being a big streamer and content creator full time, I mean, realistically, how much money do you actually really need to make that work? To cover self-paid health insurance, cover your income taxes. You have to pay 30% taxes in the U.S. It's not a low amount. And if you do a bunch of write-offs and stuff, now you've got to take like 25 to 30% of your income and spend it on stuff that is directly deductible towards what you're doing. I mean, at some point, there's only so many computers and televisions and stuff that you can buy. So, it's complicated.
Yeah. Everything can be complicated. Depends on how you take it and approach it.
I think for most streamers to actually be stable and like have a savings account, retirement, insurances, pay for your house, cars, I would say $100,000 a year is like the minimum that a streamer would want to try and make with security. Like to have that secure. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's a
Wait
big
a minute.
goal.
It is a big goal.
It's not as big as you'd think. $100,000 a year is not that much money for a creative.
Yeah, but it's how many viewers, how many, you earn that out of donations, out of the people paying you.
Yeah, but I've seen people make $10K off of 10 viewers. So I think it's very
They call
doable.
them not viewers, they call them whales at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole other discussion I'd rather not get into.
Me and neither. But I just like to point out that getting 10K out of 10 viewers, that means you just have rich friends at this point.
Yeah, no, not necessarily. It means you've monetized your stream well. You can make money
That
off
too.
of
Yeah.
merch, and
It also means you're good at persuasion.
you can make money off Patreon. You can make money off tips and rewards. I made a pretty decent income when I first started streaming without affiliate. There was no affiliate program back then. All of my money had to come from me monetizing stuff. And I'm an artist, so I could sell art and music and things like that.
Now that's an interesting discussion. What can you do outside of what Twitch offers to monetize your channel?
Okay, so how do you start making a living off of streaming before you have, before you're on the top of Spelunky? Okay, what can you do right now to monetize your stream? That's a tough one. You have to offer a value. You have to offer something valuable that people want to give you money for.
Well, the usual go-to is people will go for a T-shirt or something. But that's the thing is
merch.
a lot of T-shirts of really, really low quality, and they will just destroy themselves in the washing machine.
Merch is literally going to be the hardest thing to make, where to make money off of. It is the hardest, most difficult place for content creators to make money. It's a nice place for money when it's working, but it is not. Getting merch running and regularly upgraded and having good merch art is not as simple as, like, sign up for my Patreon and once a month I send you like at the $50 Patreon, I'll send you a box, a mystery box, personalized by me, every month. Like, that is much easier to do than merch. Merch is so complicated because you have to pay artists, or create a split, which is the normal setup with an artist is for merch. If the merch artist does not want to split the revenue with you, the profit, it's not a serious merch artist, and you're gonna be. You know how much time it takes to find an artist, to negotiate a price, or to negotiate a split. You're better off finding artists that you can negotiate a split with and will work with you regularly, and then you both make money off the merch.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I've dealt.
Otherwise,
with
you're gonna
artists back
spend.
back in the days.
Yeah, you're going to spend 20 hours a month talking to different artists and trying to get a workflow down. And if you do it with one artist, it kind of solves a lot of problems because you end up having that a lot. You go through it once basically, but then you have to find an artist who will stick around and you enjoy what they're making. That's also complicated. So I do merch. I know this because I'm on both ends of this. I help my clients set up merch. I manage. The other thing is, you're not always going to find somebody who, like me. Most artists are not going to like set up the merch store for you or set up your website for you. They're going to just send you a graphic, and you got to hope that the dimensions and the settings in the file are correct, and that they know what they're doing.
You gotta have to do a lot of trial and error.
Yeah. So, and then like the better artists, the ones who, if they were your artist, people would buy it because you hired that artist. They're gonna want a bigger split, So.
But at the same time, the point of merch is not only to make money, but to create a hype around your channel. If I have a cup of your channel with your face on it, every time I look at the cup, I look at your channel and I remember myself to watch you.
100%. That's the real value of merch. Merch is a good place to make income when it's working right, but it's complicated. Like I said, it's more complicated than trying to set up other creative paths to make money. The real value of merch is people get like a cool thing, and they feel connected to your stream more. They feel connected to you as the creator because you're selling them this cool hoodie or mug or fanny pack, whatever it is. That's 100% true. So merch has a reason to do it that isn't income. But we're talking about income right now. So
Yeah, but let's say that I sell cups and the artist gets 90% of the cut on each cup I sell. If I make 50 cents of each cup, oh, it's not worth it. But it's 50 cents that I didn't have before I did it, you know?
yeah, that's true as well. It's just a lot of work. I don't think a lot of people realize how much work it is to actually do the merch, to do it right. And then once even after all that work is done, you still have to go onto your stream and push the merch in people's faces like crazy. That's one of the things I was thinking about actually for helping monetize IQ is merch, but it's such a huge setup that I haven't even headed that direction yet. For support for IQ. Speaking of supporting IQ, if you guys find this kind of content valuable, it would be a huge help to me if you guys would go to the infinitequality.live/support and sign up on the Patreon or support through one of the other means. That would be just like a price of a sub, $5 a month is a massive help to us. So, so the other ways you can monetize, Patreon. Patreon, our Patreon with IQ is a little different because it supports what already exists, and if you don't give, this stuff is still going to happen. My hope is that this kind of stuff is valuable enough to you guys that you would go support on the Patreon because you believe in what's happening and you want to see us do more stuff. But if you guys as streamers, you have to offer more than just your stream. Like, for instance, IQ isn't a stream. I mean, we have streams. Obviously, we're doing it right now. But it's not a stream. It's a website and a community Discord and artists making graphics for you guys to upgrade your streams. It's the discussions and the mods that we have in IQ to help kind of like moderate what the things that are happening and discuss things. It's the podcast. And it's other stuff that we're going to do in the future. So there's already a ton of stuff that we offer. If you're just a stream and you create a Patreon and you say Patreon is a good way to support the stream, and if you don't want to sub, you can go to Patreon and give me $5 there. That's okay. But if you really want to make Patreon work, rewards. Something more than I am live. And more than just like a channel in your Discord for people that are supporters to like post memes. You wanna have incentives. So incentivizing is the way to go. So this is true of everything. If we're gonna talk about tips, bits, subs, Patreon, it's all about incentives. 100%. If you want to make an income off your stream, you have to incentivize and create a reward structure. It doesn't even have to be something physical. It could be, people do this all the time. The thing that I dislike is negative rewards, like candy and sugar, and I'm okay. I'm more okay on the spicy stuff, as long as it's not sugar filled and like gonna give you diabetes if you keep doing it.
I'm writing it down.
I think there's a level that influencers, streamers, need to maintain. Is
Bathwater a good example?
Bathwater is a funny example. Yes, it is. That's a good way to monetize your stream. Is to offer a reward structure. If you're an artist, sell prints of your art. If you're a musician, send them your album. If they tip $10, if you're something, figure out a way to incentivize a reward. If you're nothing, figure out a way to fill that gap.
I've seen more than a few streamers successfully sell pity.
Pity.
Yes. They come out as, I can't pay the rent, my mom hates me. And it would mean a lot if you help me pay my bills this week because I will lose the internet. Yeah. And people feel good about helping them because then the whining stops.
That's
for
not a
one,
reward
and then-
structure.
Well, I've seen it work. It is something you can sell.
It does work, but it's only works momentarily. And,
I know.
And you will lose people in that process. They may give you $5 and never show up again because they don't want you. They don't want to feel guilted into giving money when they show up to your stream. That does happen. So, yeah, I would say you want to figure out call and response types of rewards. It can be challenges for you, like the spicy food thing. I would personally not incentivize things that will make you unhealthy. You know, I'd say like a real pepper versus like those jelly beans, spicy jelly beans is a better way to go, because what you're just gonna make yourself sick if you do that forever. Push-ups, or a certain kind of content, like special content. You can raise money and say
Yeah.
if we get to this $100, I will stream Fortnite. You know, like it's not about the viewership at that point. It's just like a reward thing where like, especially if you hate a certain game, that you'll play it. It's really about punishing the streamer. But you got to find punishments that you're willing to do and take on, like wearing, you know, a Power Rangers morph suit like Jared does, or
Shaving off your manly beard.
shaving off your beard.
Aw.
Yeah. What else?
I've seen face painting. I've seen
Face painting. There you go. That's a great one.
big flex if you have any kind of muscle, or singing badly. You can sell that.
Yes, singing badly.
I will-
Souls games. Yeah, singing badly, drawing badly. You don't have to be good at this stuff. You can literally be like, I'm trying to raise $100. Everybody who gives me $10 today, if we get to $100, I will draw the waifu version of myself in paint. I will make 10 prints for the first 10 people to give me $10, and I will mail them to you. I will sign them and mail them to you. It doesn't even have to be like good. It can You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that you don't I'm not a good artist. Don't find a reason to say no, find a reason to say yes.
I know Kate. Kate used to stream. Kate Thanks By, and she said when you do karaoke, it's more about being entertaining than singing good.
Yeah. I will do a
So-
karaoke stream in Discord if we get to X amount of dollars. And you incentivize levels. So $50 is one reward, $100 another reward, $200 another reward. You know, and then make a max goal, stretch goals, that kind of stuff. And you don't want to do this with your stream every stream. If you want to have a regular incentive to make money and incentivize tipping over subs, then you need some kind of graphic on the stream that when it fills up, like a
meter.
tip meter. It doesn't, but I think you should take it a step further, because what I used to do is we had a theme called the Hive, so we had like a honeycomb shape, and I just took the tip goal bar, took the text out, rotated it so it would fill up into the honeycomb shape, and $50 would make it full. And we made $50 pretty regularly just having this thing sitting on the screen. And people knew that when it filled up, we would go play Jackbox games. Now, this was very simple reward structure, and it worked better because I was co-streaming with somebody, and we had a community based on 2 people, and so it was more of a fun vibe and weirdness going on. But what you want is some kind of thing that says, fill me up, and when I'm full, X happens. And it can be something that takes over the stream. Because, I mean, you made $50 that day. Does it matter? Does the rest of the stream matter at that point? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. So, a streamer you watch has a Donegal stream for an encore hour of stream. Right, so you add an hour to your stream because the tip jar filled up. So there's lots of ways to do this. There's lots
You
of
have
ways
to consider your
incentivize.
health though, because my back won't allow me another hour, even if you pay me $50.
But what you do is you cut an hour out of your stream, your normal
yeah,
stream.
yeah.
time.
I was getting to that.
Yeah. 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 Be smart about it. You're right. Yeah, do have to consider your health. Always consider your health when streaming.
and or the health of the people you live with. If you have a kid, you cannot go an extra hour.
True.
Yep.
No.
True. Oh, gee, why don't you come in voice chat? Come and hang out with us.
I'm actually gonna hop off here and get back to work. but-
Okay, I hope that
And
some
me
of this
as well.
stuff was
I have
helpful.
a stream coming, so thank
definitely,
you for
thank you.
having me.
For sure. You guys, if you need to take off, that's fine. And I just hope that this stuff gets you guys inspired to make good decisions. So good luck.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
does.
Come
Give us
back
something
and
to
Yeah.
do.
let us know what kind of changes are made and what works and what doesn't. So,
We'll do. Thank you.
all right, dude.
Catch you guys later.
See ya.
Good luck. See ya.
OG's gonna come join us in a little bit. That's good.
All
I've been
right.
waiting for him to be in here every Friday.
Oh, is he like regularly coming in?
No, him and I just talk about stuff sometimes in Discord, and the conversations are good, and they would be very good here.
Oh,
So I think you guys would benefit a lot from hearing from OG Junkyard. So I'm always gonna bully him into coming in here, softly bully. It's a different kind, not real bullying, soft.
yeah. Like
Softly
tofu
bully.
soft bully.
Happy Friday, meets. The podcast, by the way, is going well. We had our eighth but second episode with the new hosts last Wednesday. If you guys want to join us for the podcast, they'll be Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific. And if you missed them and want to go listen, they're about an hour long. You can watch them on YouTube, 2x speed, and it's totally fine. Well, 1.5x probably is a little more legible for the most part. But podcast is fun. I'm really glad to be doing that. We have a good episode coming up next week, so that's exciting. And then Sundays, I'm going to be doing more graphic and art upgrades for you guys. So I'll be live on Sundays most of the time, if I'm up to it, if I feel good. That's got to be the most flexible one for me. I almost didn't do this stream, because for some reason last night, my allergies acted up. And
Oh man.
I haven't had that in a long time. So I was worried that I would be kind of not able to do this today, but I'm fine.
Like peanut allergy?
No, just sneezing.
Ah.
Man, I gotta stop clicking. Since I started the diet I'm on, I've had like almost no allergies. Like 99% gone. Yesterday was the first time I had kind of like an allergy-ish. It wasn't even that bad compared to how it was in the past. I was worried. Did I eat some sugar? What did I eat? I did buy these sausages that I think something in there is causing a reaction. So
Good.
they always have to add corn syrup and shit to this food, and it's like, stop, making me sick.
Yeah, that sounds bad. Mm.
So, yeah. So how's it going with you again? I know next week we're going to do channel review of your channel. Are you gonna join me
Yeah.
in voice for that?
If you want, yeah.
Yeah, I
sure.
want you to be here. It's better for it. I don't mind doing it if you're not here, but it's better for you guys to be in voice with me.
Yeah, I can do that. Wait, say the day again. The time.
It'll be a week from. Oh, it'll be. Well, how long have we been doing this? About
All right.
2 hours ago. A week from now.
Hold on a minute. Okay. So same day, right? Next
Yeah,
week.
next week, 2 hours ago.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay. We might. How about make it like after next week? Because
wanna
there's
wait?
gonna be another wedding and I have to attend to, unfortunately.
Oh man, everybody's getting married.
Yeah, man.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, another person is getting married and they have to like go there. The usual.
That's fine. I'll move you out a week. So if anybody else wants a channel review, so we'll do yours on the 22nd.
Yeah.
So I need a channel review for next week. Actually, I have some people I can message that ask me. So yeah,
Jedi.
adding another wife to the list.
Nah, I ain't getting married again, but I know that day is coming soon. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
That means I might not see you guys much further, but who knows?
No, no,
Yeah.
no. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully we see you more. Oh, I got muted. Hopefully we see you more, not less. That's...
Oh. It's like, Sonny, do you have a take on what I just said there? Sonny, are you there? Sonny?
It's
Like
good.
for past 5 seconds after I yeah.
Channel reviews are for IQ members, Captain. So this whole stream is for IQ members. So at some point, if I don't have anybody, I can go over just general stuff about streamers that are doing things right and wrong or whatever. Tell your wife you're working, not streaming.
Nah, I'd have
True,
to
no.
tell her about everything, man. Otherwise, the marriage wouldn't really work. Everything.
That's how I feel too. But there are a lot of relationships where they just don't talk about anything. So who knows?
Wait. What do you mean by they don't talk about, like, what are the hobbies? They don't talk about it?
They don't really. Yeah, it's not really part of the discussion. They just watch their shows together and eat food and maybe they don't talk much at all. It happens.
Yeah. Probably not optimal, but I can see what you mean. It happens.
Yeah, it does happen. Okay, so
I have a question, Sonny.
yeah, go ahead. Is it about streaming? What's it about?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
how do you fix the reflection that just goes to your glasses?
There are glasses that you can get that have the coating on the lens that can help there not be reflections. And if you're still getting kind of like those lines that happen on those glasses,
For me, it's the like the little blue dots, and a little bit of what you're probably gonna see it once you review it, but it gets worse when it's chroma keyed.
Let me get my glasses and see what happens. I have a lot of blue dots and lights and stuff. Yeah, so mostly we're talking about the things that are reflecting in my glasses are the ring lights. So the angle.
Wait a minute. He's showing them on stream. Hold on a minute. Let me just open it up. There we go.
I gotta.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, so
clean these.
for me, because I have both Elgato key lights or key air, I don't use them all at once. I realized that I could just do well with just one. I still have the annoying reflection coming on both eyeglasses, and I think it's about the distance.
Well, your glasses should never be. These are so sideways. Your glasses should never be reflecting the green screen lights because the green screen lights should be lighting the green screen and not you. The green screen lighting.
I also realized another thing.
Yeah.
That the lights that I don't really need to use the Elgatos for green screen keys because actually the room the light that comes with the room that I'm using is more than enough. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, lighting the green screen is about lighting the green screen. Lighting you is about lighting you, and the lights on you can kind of help the green screen light, but for the most part, the glasses reflection should only be coming from lighting you. And so when I had these on, they show up if I'm sitting like this, but if I just tilt my head down a little bit, they don't happen. So some of it is the angle.
Yeah. It's the angle.
So if you want to just raise the lights up a little bit and put now this light is no longer in my glasses. And this one I would have to move, but it's on my desk, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, it's about positioning. So this is the point where a lot of people they just don't care enough. Like I should fix this one, which is I don't even know what that's this light, This light is an annoyance, so
I gotcha.
That's better.
Yeah, nah, I see it.
So, getting your lights in the right position is about setting up OBS, setting up your camera, and like meticulously going over it and moving lights around and being like, okay, this light needs to be there, this light needs to be there, and moving this stuff while you're live is okay. You know, go ahead and adjust.
Yeah.
Was that it? You're just worried about your glasses with the contacts. That's
It's-
that's the other way to fix it.
One other way is
Get
context,
contacts.
but I don't know.
I'm tired of these headphones.
Aren't they a little bit dangerous though?
Contacts?
Yeah.
I mean, they're only as dangerous as you are clean.
Uh-huh.
Be a clean person.
Uh-huh. Okay. Makes sense.
All right, hold on.
Is
I'm gonna
that-
switch to these
Is that my name, OG?
earbuds. I
Hello.
can't hear you.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great. Good to have you here again.
Oh,
Indeed.
OG. Oh, OG.
Am I too loud?
No, you're fine.
Okay, okay.
I will
All right.
turn you down if you're too loud.
Sounds good. So you may hear planes flying overhead.
Same.
They're doing air shows where I'm at.
I live
Ah.
next to like an airport, so
Oh, okay.
I understand.
They've been flying Blue Angels close by.
Oh
And
boy.
so it's been very loud.
Don't dox yourself too much.
I know. Generally speaking, people know
Now everybody's on
what-
Google looking for airports.
Right. But yeah, so had a whole bunch of thoughts around like monetizing streams, and in this case, I have thoughts around specifically charity streams because of something I've done in the
Oh
past.
boy, we talked about charity streams last week.
Yeah, but I think it kind of I wanted to bring it up because of the fact that like it kind of gives you ideas of ways to think about
Monetizing.
incentive.
Yeah.
Monetizing, but also incentivizing people to do things to support the stream. And so, like in the past, I was part of a charity stream called Woofstock, and it was put on by this guy, Mr. Jake Wolf. He doesn't. I don't think he streams anymore, but he used to stream quite a bit. It used to be like a full-time thing, and then he ended up getting a job. Is the short version. But every year he would do this Woofstock thing, and it was like 2 to 3 days of streamers, and he was like, we would like rotate every, I think, 2 to 3 hours. It'd be a new streamer, so he'd have like 20 or 30 streamers lined up over the course of like nearly 3 days, and they'd go back to back to back, and they'd stream on their own channels, but they would raid into the next one, into the next one, into the next one, and he was like organizing everything and all that stuff. So I was used to seeing people do like dono goals and like saying if we hit this much, based on what I think the community can do,
Oops.
then we can then we'll get like this incentive. And so I thought about it and I was like, okay, well, at the time I was like really big into doing challenge runs for Dark Souls, and I was like really enmeshed in that community. And so I reached out to some prominent members in the community, and I said, hey, I'm participating in this charity stream. I was hoping you'd be able to help out. And so I reached out, I think, to like 10 different people who were kind of like the big names in the community. I said, hey, we're gonna be playing Dark Souls and that kind of stuff for this charity stream. Can you raid me? And like it was direct message, like, and I looked at these people's like schedules, like when they normally streamed and things like that. And so like in addition to like monetary goals, I had like raid incentives, and I kind of like set it up in a way that we were pretty much guaranteed to hit all of the incentives. But I looked at the streamers I was reaching out to and like asked them for raids, and we ended up having like a ton of people. So not only did we get like the raids that I like reached out to, I think everybody but one raided. They told other people as well to raid, and so I think we ended up having like 16 or 17 raids in the course of like 2 hours or something crazy like that. But on top of that, we had raid goals, and then we had like, I tried to count approximately how many people have been brought in by the raids as well. And so if we can get like this many viewers coming in, there was like a goal for that and stuff like that. And so I had like 3 different things like sitting on the screen. So like there was financial goals, raid goals, and then like viewers being brought in. And so it was pretty interesting, like saying, hey, like if you know other people who are streaming that you like to watch, like ask them as well. And so I was asking specific people for specific things. And so like you don't, like whenever you're thinking about asking for help from the community, you don't just have to like think in like financial stuff or kind of like buying my merch or bits and that kind of stuff. You can think about like ways that people can like give back because they feel like a part of the community. And like Sunny, like this is like IQ is like the perfect example of that because you know we aren't being paid for this, or at least I'm not. Yeah, and
No.
if you are, then we need to have a conversation.
I'm spending money to do this.
Yeah. Sorry, what? Wait. What did I do? What did I do this time?
But yeah, so like we just want to like we want to give back. We want to help out, and we want to like give our thoughts and our feedback around this stuff. And that's like one way of us giving back to this community. And so like looking at your own communities and saying like, what are ways that people can give the different resources they have. Some people have connections, some people have time, some people have skills, some people have money, some people have influence. Some people are really good kind of community leaders in a sense, and they can like help grow the community and give it like some direction and help you set a vision for what the community can accomplish. Like there's all these different ways, and I know like we don't have the resources like really large streamers, but one of the things I think is really cool is looking at Lobos Jr. And 1 year for the St. Jude's charity streams that he did, like there was a whole like mod for Dark Souls 1 that was made, and like that's like a crazy big endeavor, but it's like an example of something like applying creativity and somebody's particular skills whenever they feel connected to a streamer. You know, maybe there was some compensation or whatever that was happening there, but that's like another way to give back, because that was like content you wouldn't find anywhere else on Twitch. And so like, you know, just thinking outside the box of what people could potentially like, what you need help with and what people can do for the community can be like really helpful in that regard.
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome. You can think of there are other multiple ways that one person can have an influence on you know, how they support you. So it's not just about the donations. It can be, you know, you can just like try to aim for skills that you'd like to have, and it's pretty awesome. It's not just one way. I like that kind of thinking. It's thinking outside of the box. It's not just about monetary donations. You could probably need,
everything. It's hard to put a
other
value.
support.
It's hard to put like a dollar value on like your viewership, or your networking. So, yeah, the conversation should always extend well beyond just trying to incentivize income. That's true. I just find a lot of streamers aren't doing any of the stuff that you've mentioned, even monetizing their stream.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think in general, we really got to be extra creative. Not just creative, but like extra creative. Like, this applies to everything. Your alerts, how you handle raids, how you handle new viewers. Why is your stream different? You know, like going back to Empty Apartment, he was playing Spelunky 2. How does that set him apart from anyone else who's just playing Spelunky 2? You're playing Spelunky 2 again. What have you done?
Yeah, how does that set me apart?
You did. Your stream has been different in this. If people were to click on your stream in the Spelunky 2 category, it would be different. Tell us why.
Probably because I'm doing a challenge and I'm not really much that experienced in the Spelunky, and that's why had to even mention that on the title of the stream. Yeah,
That's one way.
one way.
Yep.
That's one way. What other way? Maybe, there's also the fact that even in the category, I have not seen people do co-ops and
That was
with
yeah.
face cams on.
Yep.
That was another way that people, new viewers, would be like, okay, maybe that stream is interesting here. Maybe it's gonna be fun. They're new to Spelunky too. I'm gonna check it out. Try to get
Co-streaming.
into. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's two ways. I don't have. There's no others that I can come up with.
Well, your
at the-
stream
at the top of
itself
my
is
mind.
pretty unique, so there's that.
I mean, there's that, but that's why I don't look at it that way much.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's just your stream, so it's hard to see it.
Nah, it's just my stream. It's just my things. I like. Here's the thing. I like to. I think of my stream as a kind of as a separate thing than anybody else's, and I'm not saying that as a bragging thing. I'm saying that because I need to acknowledge this. My streams doesn't have to follow a meta. I make my own metas.
You are the
Just
meta.
like how you. Yeah, I am the meta.
Gin is
Yeah.
the meta.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't want to go off on charity streaming again.
Yeah, no, totally.
I think last week's episode on charity streaming was enough.
Well, so there are other things that you can do as well to provide different types of content. And whenever I first applied to IQ, part of my application was like, hey, I've been running these Dark Souls tournaments.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And that was like a really good way for me to kind of engage in that community in a different way. And it was also a really good way to get to know the other prominent streamers in that community, like because we're
Yep.
having to work together on something. We're
Yep.
having to like team up on stuff. I'm gonna mute myself because there's a plane flying over.
Oh no. What if I just make the sound effect of the plane flying by anyway? It's fine. You don't have to mute yourself. It's fine. I've got a plane
yeah.
filter on my soundboard. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Oh man.
But yeah, so like with that, we would have anywhere from 8 to 12 people participating in the tournaments, and oftentimes like my non-tournament average viewer count at that point was like 15.
Mm-hmm.
And so like whenever we were doing the tournaments, it was frequently 10 times that, if not more.
Yeah.
Like in at some points we would have 400 people watching.
Tournaments are a big one, dude. That's a big draw. And it doesn't even have to be like an official thing. It's just you doing offering it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
And
too many streamers, like, they don't want to do this stuff because it's like a responsibility now. They're responsible for it. It's like, well, that's what people want. They want you to come and offer them something that you're responsible for. That's the whole thing that you're doing here. And people will show up if you take responsibility for more things and for things that they want to be a part of, like a tournament. It's great. I don't know why more people aren't just organizing events. You can barely get streamers to organize a movie night. Like,
but like I think one of the cool things about events like those tournaments was it was friendly competition. It was people pulling together to do something like bigger than what they could do on their own.
mm-hmm.
And when I would just like reach out to somebody who like knew the game really well and say like, hey, we're looking for announcers, and you don't have to be there the entire 6 hours or whatever it is that we're streaming this day. You can be here for like just this particular bracket
Fight or like a section of the stream. Yeah.
So like we might be live for 6 or 8 hours for the entire series of brackets that day, but we'd say like, hey, we want you to pop in and you'll be talking with these other 2 or 3 people. And so we would have 3 to 4 people chatting and giving commentary because they knew these things inside and out. And so I was kind of giving like my portion of the commentary was like asking just questions and letting these people talk. Like some of the questions were very rudimentary. Some of the questions were very like technical and that kind of stuff. And saying, like what makes this particular boss difficult, or like in the entire run, what is the thing that people tend to struggle with the most whenever they start this? And like, you don't have to know every single thing to put something like that on.
Nope.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah, I think this is the place most streamers need to figure out, and like that and monetizing their stream obviously needs to be worked on. A lot of streamers, they're just relying on the subs and then hoping people give, and then that's not really going to cut it.
So something else that kind of that these types of events give you is people who are so used to being in somebody else's stream that they would have never checked your stream out. Like whenever like Squilla is a very, very popular like Dark Souls like challenge runner and plays like a lot of Souls games. But he's played them so much and he's so good at them, but getting the chance to see somebody else who's very good, who like that viewer might jive with also, that streams when Squilla is not streaming. You know what I mean?
But they would never stop by because they're just
right.
not watching Twitch at that time because their favorite streamer's not on.
Right. And then on top of that, like they don't, because they aren't exploring outside of that streamer, they for that type of content, they would not expose themselves to these other people.
Right.
And so they might find somebody like Squilla is going to be streaming for like an hour once they get home from school, for example. And then, but they still got to do like 3 hours worth of homework. And there's somebody else who like, once Squilla is done, this person's already live and their stream is going to be on for another 4 or 5 hours,
Yep. Networking is a huge one. We're kind of like just generally holistically speaking about being a good streamer at this point. You really gotta put more work in than just being live. You can't just throw OBS open. You could spend all your time making OBS perfect and your alerts perfect, and you could have a website and you could have merch and you could have everything. If you don't do the other stuff, if you miss the networking side, the co-op streaming, the podcasting, the chatting streams, whatever it is, if you don't step outside of your stream
Comfort zone.
I don't know what to call it. I guess comfort zone for people, but it's also like you can't just turn your stream on and have it be perfect. You have to go hang out in other people's streams. You have to go try to set up events with people. You got to try like when streamers come together and do something that's completely unique and isn't being done everywhere, that's when even when it's not like a ton of viewers, that's when I'm like, oh, this is gold. This is something great. Like you really gotta try and be a first mover, I guess. And some, like, you guys know what that term is? It's like doing something that no one is doing. You got to do something that very little people are doing that isn't being done well. That's kind of why IQ was put together. Like, there's just so many streamer communities out there, but they're not doing it really well. They're like lurking on each other's streams and giving each other false encouragement. IQ exists because we were trying to do the streamer community networking discussion graphics thing, do it right and do it well, and get stuff happening that isn't like just some dude trying to profit off of a good idea. Like IQ itself needed to be an actual good idea, and we needed to spend a ton of money on it existing so that the good idea could happen and not just be something where there's been so many communities. Hey, speak of the devil, Doc Mountain was a part of some of these communities where just because he was a part of IQ, they were like, you gotta quit IQ. Like, it's just a streaming Discord discussion group, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's just streamers trying to figure out streaming. If you can't be a part of that because you're joined this other group, that group is just trying to be like, own you. They're trying to own you. And they're trying to be like some kind of, they're just trying to profit off of your existence. And that's just never going to work. Yeah, you may have actually joined a cult. That's why we had a joke when IQ first started. We said, not a cult, hashtag not a cult. Because a lot of these groups are just like, you know, what are you joining? What is it that they offer you? They're trying to just get you to like wear their badge and wear their brand. Even the IQ panel that we have is optional. You don't have to be on the team. You don't have to have the panel. We ask that people add this stuff to their stream if they're going to use our graphics and stuff. It's because if you find value in using what artists have made for you to upgrade your stream, that you would at least acknowledge that, like with a something, like join the team or put a panel in. But you don't have to. You don't have to use our graphics. You don't have to talk in the Discord. You can literally just lurk and watch these streams and try to benefit and grow your channel. That's it. Like, how many groups out there are trying to just profit and be like the next big thing for streamers? And it's at the end of the day, it's not helping anybody but the guy who started it. And that's one of the reasons when I was building IQ, I didn't build IQ alone. I was like, we have to make this right for all of us. You know, I'll put the money in, I'll put the work in, but it can't be my community. It's got to be our community. It's never going to work if it's just centered around one person and helping that one person line his pockets with money or whatever. In fact, I think the reason IQ works is because it doesn't make anyone rich right now. It's it's just an expense, and it's something that we believe in. I mean, thankfully, most of the costs are actually covered, but not all of them, but most of them, enough of them, and we have IQ exists because it's I think it's necessary. I think it's necessary for streamers to have a place to come together. And a lot of streamers are like, who are in IQ, they say, oh, I'd really like to do a podcast or whatever, but I don't have anybody to do it with. And I'm like, I've never seen you ask in IQ for people to join your podcast. What do you mean? You know, you got to utilize the community. It's going to start, your stream starts with you. This has been a core principle of IQ from the beginning. We take no responsibility for your content. You are the reason your stream is going to work and be good. No one else is going to make your stream good for you. You have to make your stream good for you. There are graphics you can go download, but that doesn't mean that putting them on your stream is going to make your stream good. You're the one that has to go and put the work in. You're the one who has to contact people. And if you're having trouble with OBS or some kind of technical issue, you're the one who has to go to the Discord and say, help, I need help. Does anybody know how to fix this? You still have to be the reason your stream gets fixed. I think a lot of people join IQ just thinking that it's going to fix. It's like, I'm joining this cool network and that's going to make people raid me. And that's going to make me popular or something. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking, but no, your stream doesn't get better because you joined IQ. Your stream gets better because you're utilizing the opportunities. That's all IQ is. It's just opportunities. It's opportunities for you to ask questions, solve problems, make changes. That's all it is.
Yeah. And what I would say going further than that is the resources that you find like in IQ and you know, honestly, like on YouTube and on various websites and that kind of stuff, you have to be willing to put in the work to say like, I tried this, I gave it an honest shot, and this part isn't working for me. This is, I'm going to capitalize on that. And you can't just toss it up, expect it to work your very next stream. You got to like give it time. You got to iterate on it. You got to say like, hey, you know, I like this thing about this other person's stream, and actually reach out to them and say, how did you do this? And that kind of stuff. And that is something that is tough, because you have to have ideally like enough goodwill with that person that they're willing to give you the benefit of the doubt and give you that advice and stuff. Luckily, the people that I've reached out to on Twitch have been generous with their time or with their advice or you know, whatever it is they've asked for, and I've really only had, I think, 2 or 3 people probably out of the 30 that I've reached out to with very specific asks, either blow me off or whatever. And so like with IQ, like as you're getting to know people or as you're networking like with other people on IQ, like Gin is the perfect person. I've said like, hey, you know, I really like this thing about your stream, like the just a lot of the effects that he does and like the way he approaches streaming in the meme idea. I've said like, hey, did you hire somebody for this, or you know, did you do that yourself or whatever? And he's like been very gracious with his time and being very open about that stuff.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Again, does a lot of everything you just said.
Yeah.
He hires people for things and he does things himself. He does both. He does it all.
And it could be something as simple as, how do I start to make be right back video, like, or like a highlight reel or something. And the answer could literally be like, hey, I just like went and grabbed clips from the top 20 clips and then just chained them all together and or sent them to an editor for them to throw it together and put some like music behind it.
Yep.
And that kind of thing. Like the answer could be that.
Yeah.
But at least you have another piece of data to work with it. Something, a thread to pull on, something to lead you in that direction to improve your stream a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into streaming, and I think the real problem is when it comes down to the I think a lot of streamers don't realize that the work that they do need to do is outside of the stream itself. It's not actually, you know, working on polishing every corner of your stream, making perfect alerts and doing this stuff. The stuff that actually helps the most is the networking and the hanging out with other streamers and watching people who inspire you to do things. And
yeah, and what I would take that a step further and like think about what is the experience. Sorry about that.
You're fine.
I'm doing some painting, and so I've got doors that are primed. I've got to put another coat on. But think about the viewer and sit in their shoes. Like,
Yeah.
if you're in other streams and you're watching their stream, what do you like about it? What do you wish that you could incorporate in your stream? What how easy is it to find you on other platforms, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
Yep.
That's what I actually think about a lot when I visit streams. Yeah. So something that it's a good thing that I think about it this way, actually. Kind of makes my brain go a little bit wild of creativity, creative juice.
Yeah. And
There's,
I can go on and on.
yeah, I know.
Sure.
We all can. I want to address something Doc said. He said, with kids, it's really hard to network with 35-hour jobs, but it's still doable. Yeah, you have to swap out your messages to friends with work. Instead of messaging your friends about, you know, a new game trailer or something, you know, send a message to another streamer and say, hey, do you want to do a movie night together? Or do you want to host a tournament with me? Like, you don't, the thing, I think a lot of people, they come up with an idea, and they think it's just going to be so hard to execute. It doesn't have to happen overnight. Give yourself 3 months to make it happen. It's better that it happens than you give up right away and find a reason not to do it.
For sure, for sure. And like whenever I was doing those tournaments, the first one that I did, the person I hosted with, Yo Josh Reno, we spent like 6 weeks before the tournament actually happened. Like we spent, I think, 2 full weeks like just talking about it and saying like, hey, who could we reach out to that has advice on this, that's done these before, and what do we need to do, and kind of planned it out a little bit and said, hey, can you do this? Can I, I'll take care of this. And we went back and forth, and it was a lot of work getting those set up, but and to like by the third one I was able to like do it all myself because I had done it enough.
Yeah.
But just brainstorming and having somebody else there to bounce ideas off of, they may want to join in and like actually help you accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish.
I mean, some of my relationships with clients, that is a big part of it. Like some months it's like I have to make a thing for them, and some months it's like Gin and I just had a meeting the other day where we was mostly brainstorming and talking about how to, I think it gives everybody should find somebody. It doesn't have to be a paid professional relationship like with me. It can be. If that helps you keep a level of professionalism and seriousness about what you're doing, then yeah, maybe you should have somebody. Because it can be hard to do this with your friends, because your friends will want to. It's not an hour meeting that's a professional set aside time to make things work for your stream. It's like I'm playing Call of Duty, and yeah, I can talk to you and hang out with you at the same time. I'm not multitasking and playing video games when I meet with my clients. So it really depends on your level. But you do need somebody. This is why I offer this as this kind of service. You need somebody to sit down with you and just help you kind of talk about things. It gives you a place to put your ideas, and those sometimes just the discussion itself gives birth to the good idea that you're missing, that you wouldn't have come up with if you hadn't taken an hour to just like talk about things. Having somebody to talk about your stream with is super valuable. So like organizing these networking events and finding other streamers to work with and talking to them, just talking to each other can help you be a better streamer and figure out good ideas and good ways to execute and new things to do together and separately. So that's what the true networking is the value of coming together and executing new ideas together.
Yeah, like actually doing it.
Yeah, and being inspired to make your stream content better and have these areas that nobody else is executing on. These relationships are super valuable. So I think every streamer streamers need to come together more and like work together on things, because it not only helps you execute the thing you want to do, it helps you figure out how to make your own stream better.
Right. And then at the same time, you can also pay the favor back to them and say like, hey, you want to do this thing, like with the Wolfstock thing. The next year, I offered to like help out and get some experience around organizing the Wolfstock charity stream. It ended up like falling through for a couple of reasons, but it was like me saying, hey, thank you for inviting me. I want to help you, and if you need to like find people, or if you need to like put together a schedule, or if you need people to help run things behind the scenes, like I'm more than happy to help. And honestly, like you mentioned earlier, sometimes you gotta like step away from friends to work. Sometimes these relationships that start out as work turn into friends.
Friendships. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
And then the other thing is, Doc was saying something around it's hard to do with kids and like a full-time job and things like that. And one of the most important lessons I've learned in life is being able to simply say, this doesn't matter as much to me as I thought it did. And I don't want to like I can just like cut my tie with this thing because I'm not going to give it the attention that it deserves and focus that extra energy instead of trying to do something like on 2 hours a week, putting those extra 2 hours a week into something I care more about. And so like with streaming, like that could be instead of playing, 5 different games at the same time, cutting that down to 2 games and really focusing on making those very interactive, very high quality experiences and networking with those communities more, and rating the other members of those communities more, and getting to know the people in those communities on a deeper level, and joining the other chats and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I do think timing is not an excuse. There's no rush. You don't have to make things work tomorrow. You just got to start working on them a little bit at a time. Artists are better at this because if I'm doing, let's just say a piece of merch or something, I don't expect to finish the design in one sitting. I don't. There's no rush. There may be a little bit of a rush because you want to get a design ready for your client or something, but you don't want to rush into doing these things. You want to take your time and execute well. There's way more value in creating something that works than just doing it tomorrow because you want to do it. I'm so excited to do it. I got to do it right now. No, you don't. Take your time. A lot of this is a relational. You have to create relationships with people that will help you execute together. There's been some really good examples of this in IQ. Unfortunately, some of them have kind of... Okay, well, let's talk about this. This will be kind of our last little wrap-up for this because we're coming to the end here. So sometimes you work very hard on doing these things with people and it doesn't work out. Or it works for a while and then it ends. Life is seasonal. These things they're not going to last forever. If you start a podcast with someone, you know how streamers are. They may disappear next year or next month. They could just stop for whatever reason. So, be ready to find a new host and keep going with the podcast with somebody else. Keep doing the thing that was working, even though somebody can't do it with you. If you don't, then you really did waste your time. But it's okay to hit these speed bumps and to kind of have things not work out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or I would even say flip it and set the boundaries that, hey, let's do a 6-episode podcast to talk about these specific things. And then that way you have a clear cut, like, we're going to try this out, see how it works, and maybe we move on to something else, or maybe we, the 6 episodes are done and we wipe our hands of it and call
move on. Yeah. If you do something once a month for an entire year, that's 12 times. That's not that much. So, that's true. But my point is that if somebody quits or has a life thing and they can't do it anymore, that's not a reason for you to stop. That's a reason for you to change, move, change how you're approaching things. It's not a reason to stop. And expect that these things are going to happen. I mean, I didn't expect to get sick. I had to stop doing stuff for almost 2 years. Life happens, and so if you're dedicated towards your channel and your content and you're working on tournaments and the streamer that you're running tournaments with disappears, replace them. And that's going to happen. Expect that it's going to happen.
On every single tournament that I ran, somebody, either a runner or an announcer, dropped out every single time.
Yeah, so have backups maybe.
Yeah, we had
backups ready to go. That's if you're an IQ member, hopefully you have an entire server of people that are backups for you. That's a good way to look at it. You know that these people care about their stream. You know especially the longer they've been in IQ. maybe that's even a benefit of being a long-term member of IQ and being a more active member. This is one of the things I think people don't realize. Just being active in IQ, like talking, coming on these streams, taking part in what we're doing on a minimal level, even just like talking in the Discord once in a while, that means that the other IQ members are more aware of you. And you're putting yourself out there a little bit more, talking in the stream's chat here, this kind of stuff. Just taking part, makes you a little bit more visible, which makes it more likely for the IQ member that's putting together a podcast to think about you, and to maybe message you about, being on a podcast together or starting something up. And so, it's kind of like the more you give to IQ, the more you get out of it. And by give, I don't mean the Patreon. I mean like typing in the Discord and taking part, answering someone's question, being a part of a discussion, coming on to these podcasts. The more you are an active member, the more likely people are going to try and network with you and work with you. So I think you put yourself out there, and there's just as much opportunity to be discovered by other streamers to make stuff together. That's something you want to consider, and that's true of everything. If you're active in another streamer's community, you're more likely to have that streamer's community, if they were to raid you, like remember you and follow you and care because they've seen you in the chat and they know that you have a relationship with their favorite streamer or another streamer that they follow. So
For sure.
your own activity levels do a lot. They do more than you think.
Oh, absolutely. And this applies to more than just IQ. You know what I mean?
Yeah, big time.
Like anytime you're in a community of something, the more effort you put into that community, the more you get out of it.
Yeah.
And
That's just life.
yeah, for sure. And it doesn't, like I was saying earlier, it doesn't have to just be time or money or resources or whatever. It could just be like being a sounding board for somebody else to bounce ideas off of. And then they are like grateful towards you and they want to repay that gratitude.
Mm-hmm. True. This was a good chat. This was good. I'm glad you came in here, OG.
Yeah.
Thank you
Okay,
again.
thank you for coming in.
This was good. I always get like a little concerned nothing's going to happen on these Friday streams, and it's never true. I just have this weird anxiety about it. But it's always good. You guys always make it great, and we always have good stuff to share and talk about. So I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to definitely be throwing this on YouTube, and we will continue with the podcast on Wednesdays, and Sunday I'll be doing more graphic upgrades and arts, so look forward to the IQ stream on Sunday. And if you guys have ideas, the things you think we should share, always message me. I know some people have messaged me. I didn't really respond to everybody, but I do read your messages, and I do take it into consideration. So thank you guys for messaging me. And if I don't respond, it's not because I probably just forgot, or a lot of people messaged me and I just haven't gotten to it yet. So
Yeah. Gotcha.
Sorry, Kuma's one of them. Yeah, for sure.
You know, the only thing that we need now for these is a nice little "we're wrapping up" jingle.
A little song. You want to write us a song?
No.
You want me to write it? You want me to write a song? Yeah. Okay.
Well, no. I just don't have skills in that way, and I would not be the person.
Oh,
Otherwise,
that's great. That's great. That's why you need to do it. Yeah.
You're gonna get a Blues Clues.
Here, I got
you.
you. Here's some reverb. Go ahead. You want...
Oh, you're gonna.
Just kidding. Anyway, so if you guys are interested in joining IQ, visit infinitequality.live. There's an application process. If you're on
We're definitely gonna
YouTube,
kick you out.
that's very rare. Most people leave on their own. But if you want, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment, like, subscribe, do whatever you want. And And don't forget to check out the Patreon. Thank you guys who are supporting already. This stuff really wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for the people that are already giving on Patreon. So if you guys find this valuable at all, that's the best way to support. There's a link in the panels on Twitch and in the description on YouTube. Just $5 a month is massive. Really helps. So thank you guys. I really appreciate you. And we'll see you next Friday if you're here for the Friday stream. And join us for the podcast on Wednesdays. All right.
Hey, everybody. Good night.
Say
See ya.
goodbye with reverb.
With reverb.
With reverb.
Oh, I cut it. I cut it off. I cut it off.
cut it
I'm
off.
sorry. You didn't get reverb, OG.
Oh,
Have a good one, guys.
All right.
yeah, later, man.